I may not participate in psychedelics, but music and therapy together does sound nice. Time to enjoy. Welcome back to Y.E.S, everyone. Today we are talking about music for psychedelic therapy, the 6th studio album released by Jon Hopkins. There wasn't a way I wasn't going to talk about this album after his brilliant Singularity release. I actually found a list recently about albums in the EDM category that were the best of the 2010s, and Singularity made it on there. Who decided it first? You figure it out for yourself. I don't care. I just knew that album was awesome, and apparently other people think so too. But getting back to this one right here, what can I say about this album? Well, it's supremely different from the other one, but I can still tell that Jon Hopkins made this. Depending on what you choose to do in order to relax, or how you choose to pass the time by watching YouTube or listening to something on Alexa, you may find music that sounds eerily similar to this, but unless you know exactly what Jon Hopkins does in order to produce and mix his music, you probably wouldn't understand how this might be different from other Buddhist bell, relaxing, therapeutic-oriented kind of music might differentiate in some way. I would say that the first track is probably the only one where it delves into something that kind of feels psychedelic, at least from the experience I know from listening to some 60s music and other music that have expanded on the idea of that genre of music, that vibe that people think clicks with that feeling. The next 3 tracks that follow right after that are titled Teos Caves, Ecuador, and each one has 1, 2, 3, following numerically. All 3 of these are definitely more tropical oriented in some way, not like too heavy, but each one does have more of a highlighted element in here. The first one has more rain along with a humming synth. The second one is a bit more bass heavy. And the third one kind of brings everything full circle into the tropical feel. And Jon Hopkins does get his moment to show some of the beats, or at least some of the sounds necessarily, that make his sound what it is. I love the title of the 5th track, Love Flows Over Us in Prismatic Waves. This one is more space-like, if you can feel peace in space. I don't actually know how astronauts necessarily feel entirely, but yes, space is a place, for me at least, where I feel a certain feeling of awe and the idea of peace being in a spaceship, ideally. While the next song, Deep in the Glowing Heart, also in my mind is also a space-oriented feel, but it feels like more active space. And I don't mean like an action moment. This isn't Star Wars or a fight scene of some other kind. It just means that, more is happening than just floating in your spaceship. Like, you're needing to move around, or maybe the adventure is starting and, you're just kind of getting that feel that something more is to come. After that, Ascending Dawn Sky brings us back to the ground with some pretty simple piano, and then also some chimes to end the tune. And then in the 8th and 9th track, we finally get some human interaction here. The first one, called Arriving, kind of has more of a woman's humming lullaby kind of feel. No lyrics in here, just kind of a motherly lullaby hum in a way. And then Sit Around the Fire is the last track in here. This song kind of has more of a poetic montage of ideas going in here that are trying to be more like mind-blowingly profound. And in some ways, I'm all right with that. And then there are a few moments where it feels like a self-righteous yoga instructor is talking to me in some way. But in the end, it's probably something where it's just like, it's just meant to get you to just think a little bit and relax with some words just tied in at the end. Now, I don't seriously think that a lot of people here are going to want to maybe take time to listen to this album intently, but if you do need some music to relax to, this is actually, I would strongly consider recommending, because one, Jon Hopkins does include his elements here, so if you do give it a shot, cool. But if you don't really feel like this is something you will listen to recreationally, maybe save this some way, put it on a bookmark or a tab, save the link somewhere. And when you've had a really hard day at work or just something stressed you out, this might do the trick for you. And I think you'd be surprised how much it will assist you in just wanting to bring down the boiling blood pressure. So after having listened and reviewed this album with the following grades in the following categories here, how would I recommend this album? I am going to give it a yeah. Don't think it can be any higher, but don't think it can be any lower than this either. It's just something where I feel like it does what it needs to do. Yes, other things do sound like this, but I think he allows this story of sounds to continue on, to rise up and come back down and just bring you to this state where in the end you feel like, well, that was more enjoyable than I anticipated. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want more Yes in your life, be sure to subscribe to this channel where you can discover, promote, and review the best in entertainment that'll make you say yes.